It's simply been too long. Martin and Marlow, episode 25. Charlie back at it. We took a little Thanksgiving break. I miss you, pal. You had a little time off. Instead of Ohio, though, it was a little staycation. How's the fam? How was the week?
Oh, well, everything was great. And thank you. I miss you as well, Martin, even though I saw you yesterday at TV. But I guess for the podcast, we're pretending like we didn't see each other. So,
Well, quality time is what I'm saying. You know, we used to spend, remember, we were spending 3 hours a day on the radio. I can't even fathom that right now, that we would sit there for three. No wonder we talked about our favorite potato chip. I mean, 3 hours every day. So that quality time is what I'm talking about.
okay, I got you. Yeah, we had a good Thanksgiving, stayed here. My dad canceled Thanksgiving back in Ohio. He said, do not come to Ohio. He didn't want 5 families all gathering together. Both my parents worked at hospitals for 40 plus years, so they're being overly cautious, which I get. So we had a nice Thanksgiving here and went to the father-in-law's house and had a nice Thanksgiving. What about you?
Well, basically stayed home. My mom has been we're trying to determine if my mom is in our bubble or my sister's bubble. So my mom's been here more than there. So she came over and just kind of kept it simple. We had just our family, my mom, and then my niece in town from Kansas City, and that was it. Pretty low key, but yeah, I tell you what, it makes it easier in terms of getting food ready and clean up the small. It's the perfect excuse. Like if you don't want to be around people or have people over, this is your time to shine, because you're like, well, I'd love to see you, but you know how it is with the pandemic. It's the perfect cover for not being around anybody.
It is. And let me just say this, because I think this is a good time, because we need to revisit back when things get back to normal. I think we need to remember that sometimes simpler is better. And this is not a critique of my current situation whatsoever. I remember this going back years and decades and whatnot. I feel like too many people stress out over holidays with the cooking, with everything that's involved, with getting all the meals prepared. And I think sometimes we do so much. And again, I'm not talking about me. A lot of the women in the household who are doing all the cooking and most of the cooking, and moms and wives and all that. And we should help out too. But sometimes I feel like we make it too much of a big deal and we don't enjoy it, right? Make it simple. If you have to go get some of your side dishes from a place, go get them. Don't slave in the kitchen all day and enjoy the holiday more. I think that's what we should remember about 2020. Sometimes simpler is better.
Take the stress out of it. 100%,
Yeah.
100% Colton Pareko. This is episode 25. And normally, Charlie, what I'll do is just off the top of my head, think of, what pops into my head. And that number, Mark McGwire, pops in my head because he was, prolific, hitting home runs, and he was number 25. But I didn't have a lot of other ones that came to mind. So just for fun, right before we sat down, I Googled it. And sometimes there's a list that's just bad. Like it says number 1 jersey 25, who wore it best, whatever. And it had Vince Carter. I'm like, I didn't even know he wore 25. Barry Bonds is probably the number 1 for wearing the number. And I guess he had 24 for years, but in San Francisco, couldn't wear it because of Willie Mays. And Willie Mays, being his godfather, offered to give it to him, but he said no. So he went with 25. Think about that. McGwire and Bonds, both juicers, both home run guys, both wore the 25.
That's pretty good right there. I'm not good at these numbers whatsoever. I did think of Bonds, though, when you said this. And then Vince Carter, I always thought he had a single number. And I think what these NBA guys did, and maybe LeBron was part of this as well, because LeBron was always 23. And then I think after he was on the Olympic team and they had single digit jersey numbers, I think he switched for a while, maybe, didn't he, with the Heat? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm guessing Vince Carter did the same thing. I thought he had a single number for a while. I could be wrong.
Sounds right. I love Vince Carter in part because he did a promo for Sports Final. He was in town. I think your guy, Philly Phil, or one of these guys, it might have been, because I tweeted the picture out when I was cleaning the basement one time. It's me and Vince Carter. He's, real young. We both look a lot younger. And we're outside, I think it was Oakville High School. And it might have been Phil Maroon's brother, Justin, who won. I thought he said that one of them won the contest. It was a Gatorade national contest that Vince Carter would come to your school and like hang out for recess. And he was at Oakville High School, if I'm not mistaken. And he cut a, hey man, you're watching Sports Final with my guy Martin Kilcoyne. Somewhere in my pile of tapes, Charlie, that still exists. But nonetheless, Martin and Marlow, episode 25. Chuck, we got a lot to get to. Did you know that?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your topics because I don't have any.
We have a lot to get to. No, I am thankful. We'll do our list of what we're thankful for. And then we'll do our Turkey Day leftovers. Stuff it or eat it. Now, the thankfulness is for college basketball and a topic that keeps coming up because everybody says they want to play a game. First of all, I love the answer by Travis Ford. He said, man, we're looking to play games. We're going to fill out our schedule. And he references the tweet from Mike Bray, the Notre Dame coach. Mike Bray tweets out, this is serious. I'm not joking around. We want to play a game. We'll travel. And Travis Ford says after they beat LSU, I don't know if you guys all saw that Notre Dame tweet, but we put in a call and, it didn't really go our way. They didn't call back. Notre Dame puts it out there. We're looking for a game. SLU calls, and they don't call back. That's some weak sauce. Is that what the kids say? Weak sauce. But then everyone said, well, why doesn't SLU and Mizzou play? This was your thing. Ben Fred wrote a column about it in the Post-Dispatch. This was a early daily video, Chuck. You were ahead of your time. SLU, Mizzou, if not this year, then never.
It's funny you say that because I don't think I've done a daily video in over a week. And every day I think to do one. And I literally can't think of anything interesting. Now, you could make the point that I never have anything interesting, but I need to think of a topic. I can't go back to SLU, Mizzou. I already did that. It's absolutely cowardly, in my opinion. The whole thing with Notre Dame, we'll play you. Unless you're good, and we might lose a game versus a really good SLU team. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke that college basketball teams duck each other like this. It really is. It's a horrible example. Every college basketball fan in Missouri, in the country, would love to watch a game like that. There are all these cool regional rivalries, whether it's Ohio State, Xavier, and Cincinnati, games like that, and they never want to play each other. And you know what? I'm just tired of it. With Mizzou and SLU, they should absolutely play. We all know that Mizzou, they want the 2-for-1. It's more on Mizzou than SLU, but still, in any year, 2020, you can't even find a game. It's such a joke that they're having to cancel all these games. They're trying to travel to Omaha and different places to play basketball. They could literally drive 2 hours. The fact they won't play this year is a freaking joke.
And I blame Mizzou historically for not wanting to play the little brother down the road because, what do we have to gain? I do think some of it's alumni driven. Boosters that have money are telling the AD and the program, hey, we don't want to do it, which also pisses me off. But I think if I'm SLU and the offer is a 2-for-1, I think I'd take it. Why? I mean, you basically say, we're not afraid of anything. We love our program, and we'll play you in Warrenton. We don't freaking care. I mean, if you were SLU, would you have taken the 2-for-1 offer?
I would, because I love watching good games. I understand strategically why they wouldn't. And again, they're putting these schedules together a couple years in advance, sometimes year of. I mean, they're doing it with algorithms based on whatever it is now, net rankings, to basically have the best possible non-conference schedule to give themselves a chance to get an at-large bid. So I understand that in other years, even though I totally disagree with it. But this year, I think you throw all that out the window. This year doesn't even technically count. I mean, it does, but all these players are getting their eligibility back. So again, when you're bending over backwards to find any games to play, the fact that you have two legit Division I programs, it would be a good game, and you're 2 hours away, and the fans would love it in a year where people want to be entertained. People are bored. People are depressed. They want to see their teams play. I think it's embarrassing that they're not playing, honestly. And I think fans are fed up with it. I just think, you could talk about the leadership in our country politically, but I mean, even these colleges that we look up to, you're scared to play each other. I mean, football teams with the COVID, some of these schools aren't playing games. I just think it's terrible leadership, and it's embarrassing that everybody wants to see these games played, and they won't do it for really, really dumb reasons, especially in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, SLU and Mizzou are unwilling to play each other or can't figure it out. But Well, Duke will play Michigan State, and Michigan State will play Duke, and Kentucky will play Kansas. Kansas will play Kentucky, and they all know there's a decent chance they're going to lose. And it's like that. Like if you say, "Yeah, I'll play Kentucky, I'll play Kansas, I'll play Michigan State," you're agreeing to a game that you very well might lose. I mean, Illinois is playing Baylor. I mean, they could very well lose that game. I don't understand. Like, well, we can't do it because why? And this is a year where the Maui Classic is in Asheville, North Carolina. It's as effed up as it's ever going to be. So it just came around that topic again. And I thought, you know what? Chuckster was ahead of his time. That was a daily video, I believe, early on in the pandemic.
Appliance Discounters, a great St. Louis success story. They're in Maplewood, South County, St. Charles, and Baldwin. And they carry GE appliances. You know the story at Appliance Discounters. Great merchandise, even better prices. Well, they carry GE. So what I tell folks to do all the time, I just tell them, go to the website, theappliancediscounters.com, and in a little search engine, type in GE, and all of the great products will pop up. Ranges, microwaves, freezers. How about the stainless steel dishwasher? Free installation. Washers and dryers. Dryers can be gas or electric. Great selection of the GE products. Refrigerators, French door, fingerprint resistant refrigerator. How does that sound to all the parents out there? Top freezer refrigerators. GE is built to last. You know their story. Started in 1892. I love this nugget about GE. Thomas Edison, one of the founders of GE. Appliance Discounters, a proud supplier of General Electric appliances. Get online at theappliancediscounters.com.
I want to stick with college sports because I am fascinated by Mizzou's season, but also the 1-year anniversary of Eli Drinkwitz getting hired. And I think we all had the exact same reaction. Who? Drink a what? And you start looking him up. Like, okay, he had some Gus Malzahn on there. Okay, he had a great year at Appalachian State. Looks like it's an offensive guy. And okay, we'll see. And we've talked about it before, but he just seems to hit the right notes at the right time. Some of it can be cheesy. Maybe some of it's a little bit like a politician. He rattled off the other day he wants these fun things from Mizzou when they win a game, these traditions, and kind of marching through town. And he says, maybe we'll go to Booch's and Shakespeare's. And I've heard Harpo's a pretty fun spot. And some of that is like the old rock stars saying, hey, St. Louis, how are you doing out there? And everybody goes crazy because it's your hometown. But I also think he's become really immersed in like everything Mizzou quickly. He was mad that they lost to Vandy last year. I know you do that to get the players fired up, but he just, like with Barry Odom, God bless him, now at Arkansas, defensive coordinator, there was just no sizzle at all. And this Drinkwitz, and granted, they're winning some games, so it's more fun. But I just think he kind of he's hitting like all the right notes, even meeting the girl kicker, the female kicker, the young woman for Vanderbilt, meeting her on the field before the game. And he says later, I told her, hey, I got 4 daughters at home and I'm proud of you. And I get it. Some of it is like political answers, saying the right things, or maybe a little bit cheesy, but I'm just amazed how quickly he's kind of put a stamp on things and how you've gotten like a feel already for like who he is.
Yeah, I love him. And I didn't think I would, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to be kind of like the man that I loathe more than anybody right now in college football, who's Dabo Swinney, who I think is a total fraud, who's always quoting the Bible and all that, but then everything that he says and does, in my opinion, goes against those principles. I'm talking about Dabo here. So I thought Eli would be a little bit like that, and it's totally the opposite. I think he's great. I think he's self-deprecating. He does say the right things. He likes to have fun with the media. He has immersed himself in the culture of Columbia. And yeah, some of the things you said about Sarah Fuller, he does have 4 daughters. It is a great example for his daughters. And early in the year, remember, he went after a little bit Kirk Herbstreit, who said that the season was going to be canceled. He didn't think there was going to be a season. And he pushed back on that. Now, I think when you look at this season and the fact that there's been a ton of games postponed, a ton of games canceled. It's crazy. I mean, the Big Ten, will they play enough games? Will Ohio State be eligible for the Big Ten championship game? There was some truth to what Kirk Herbstreit said, but I also think Eli Drinkwitz was fighting for college football, and he's not afraid to kind of mix it up, even though he's a young coach. And I like that. I mean, every time the dude talks, I tend to agree with what he says.
And how about even on a Zoom call, Arkansas reporters like, oh, hey, coach, we see you got your Diet Coke there. And they go, you're like Saban and his Coke. And Drinkwitz goes, yeah, well, except mine's not a prop. I actually drink this stuff. I was like, he's kind of making fun of Nick Saban. So fun to have Mizzou playing football, but also to have a coach who is just kind of fun. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, you and I are doing shows every day. We're looking for games. We're looking for content, looking for storylines. And kudos to Coach Drink for helping us fill up the proverbial notepad. Martin and Marlow, episode 25. By the way, I probably buried the lead. Coming soon. You can always get us on Google and iTunes and Spotify, YouTube, subscribe, and then it's delivered directly to you. But we're going to be on the platform scoopswithdannymac.com. I believe episode 26 will be the debut. It's going to come out every Thursday. It gives us a little more wiggle room, Chuck. Let's be honest. You're off Sunday, Monday. I don't see you. And then we kind of knock out the segment, but it's going to be every Thursday. People can get it at scoopswithdannymac.com. Chris Raby's doing a show over there every day, I believe. Dan's got all his content, so looking forward to that. And our great sponsors. Let's start with the Marlow people. Who are they?
Marlow people. Well, I'm staring right here at Otis Marlow, our fine cockapoo. Had him for 6 years. Been taking him to Kennelwood Pet Resorts that whole time for everything, boarding, grooming, day camp, training, all of that. You got St. Louis Lawn Care. Our guy Tim Jankerson just came by yesterday. His crews. They did all the leaves, man. Isn't that the best? Because nobody likes doing leaves in the fall. And they just took care of all of our leaves. I can finally see the grass. It looks beautiful. My neighbors aren't mad at me anymore because of St. Louis Lawn Care. He also has St. Louis equipment for all your mower needs, mower repair. That's stlmowerrepair.com. And of course, Corner Butcher. I've been going there once a week. They have everything. And call them now for your Christmas holiday needs in terms of hams, prime rib, all that. They'll take care of you. They did all the turkeys, of course, for Thanksgiving. You need to just go there because they have so much more than you would think. They have the Boar's Head partnership, deli meats and cheeses, all of your steaks and your cuts of meat. They have all the frozen take-home dishes. You need to go check it out. They have a lunch counter. They have a new seafood cooler. It's fantastic. Corner Butcher in Fenton, 2099 Bentley Plaza Drive.
And, of course, Triad Bank, which is the neighborhood-friendly bank located in Frontenac. They're on Clayton Road. It's about a block west of Lindbergh, real close to Lindbergh and Highway 40. So wherever you are, it's easy to get to. It's a St. Louis-based bank, started in 2005. So if you want to get things done, the decision makers are right here in St. Louis. It's not going through L.A. or New York. Triad Bank on the web, triadbanking.com. Appliance discounters with 4 area locations, quite simply. Everything you need in the appliance world at the lowest price. And for years they've done this. We're on the price tag. They list their competitors around town. So you don't have to go from store to store to see what the prices are. They put it right on there. So you can tell that it is, in fact, the lowest prices on the biggest names in the appliance world. Talking about Bosch dishwashers, the quietest dishwashers on the market. TheApplianceDiscounters.com is the website. And Marie Davila Senior Living, here's a little something for Charlie, Jess, and Janie Mae. You hop in the car. You're going to probably go out and see some Christmas lights. That's a great activity in a socially distanced world right now, driving around in your car. Make sure you go to the corner of Clayton and Wideman Road because our buddy Fred at Marie Davila has the giant tree up. He says it's the largest tree in I think in St. Louis County. We're trying to document this. But the lights are up, the tree's up, always festive at Marie Davila Senior Living. If you'd like to take a virtual tour, you can do that at mariedavila.com. Football note here. This is coming off the NFL weekend where the Broncos didn't have a quarterback and they played the practice squad kid. I think he was 1 for 9. And there was some stat that they put on the screen about, first time since da-da-da-da, and it said since the Chargers. And Ryan Leaf tweeted out, hey, this isn't fair. The Chargers don't have to own this. That was me. And I guess he's in this new mode now where he's a better, healthier person. He's been through a lot of stuff. And he said, I'm comfortable owning this now. That was my fault, not the Chargers' fault, blah, blah. But I was thinking about, the worst quarterbacks. Because right after I saw that Ryan Leaf deal, I saw Trubisky return for the Bears. And people are just so sick of how bad. The Bears can never get a quarterback. I mean, they had Cade McNown. He was a first-round pick. Are more first-round quarterbacks busts than any good. Because, I mean, Achilles Smith and the Bengals. I just started thinking of all these terrible quarterbacks, even like Sam Bradford. I mean, would he be a bust? I think for a first overall, he's a bust, even though he made a lot of money and played in the league. Carson Wentz isn't a bust, but he's already on his way out in Philly. You think he's a bust?
Well, I wouldn't call Sam Bradford a bust. And I understand that he never lived up to the first round number 1 overall.
And that's why I say it, because number 1 overall. I mean, I guess because he had some success and played in the league, maybe that's too strong, but he didn't pan out.
I think Sam Bradford was a serviceable NFL quarterback. And I know he was the number 1 overall pick, never lived up to it, but still, I think it's unfair to call him a bust. To me, a bust is Jamarcus Russell. I mean, Jamarcus Russell was never an NFL regular starting quarterback. Ryan Leaf is a bust. Carson Wentz right now, I would kind of put him in the same boat as Sam Bradford. I still think he has more upside, because remember that year where he's injured, he probably would have won the NFL MVP. And maybe if he's healthy, he also leads the Eagles to the Super Bowl. I don't know. You watch him now and he looks – I don't think he's surrounded with any weapons. I do think that's probably a Ryan Tannehill type situation where eventually if he doesn't improve his play, the Eagles will move on. And if he goes to a good team, I can see him being a good quarterback with the right surroundings. But I understand if you trade up, that's the thing with Mitch Trubisky. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I understand being called a bust because he's not very good at all. They've already moved on. I mean, signing Nick Foles was moving on. You traded up to get him. And oh, by the way, you could have gotten 2 generational talents in either Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. I mean, everything surrounding Mitch Trubisky is just an awful decision.
I'm actually flipping through, just for fun, I just flipped through a list, and it says worst quarterbacks of all, or biggest busts, or worst draft picks. And this is, I'm not sure where this list is from, a Bleacher Report, okay? I'm going to give you the top 10, because people like this stuff, Charlie. People like this stuff. We're past 20 minutes, and now people have completed their commute. David Klingler, remember him?
Bengals,
6th overall in 1992. Really great college quarterback. Todd Blackledge, who's turned into a very good announcer. He was the 7th overall pick. He ended up with the Chiefs. Achilles Smith, another Bengals, number 8 on the list. He was 3rd overall. Andre Ware, again, pretty good announcer. He was from the old run and shoot stuff in college.
Lions.
In 7th, Rick Meyer, Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
2nd overall. And it's funny because they said the Seahawks had just failed with Dan McGuire, which was Mark McGuire's brother. And then 93, they go for Rick Meyer. Heath Schuler, 3rd overall. I think he went to Washington first, right? Todd Marinovich, famous for what?
For his dad being the psycho weightlifter guy.
Yes, and even the story here says Marinovich was said to have been forced into a quarterback life by his father. He was 24th overall, but he did flame out. Art Schlichter, your guy. Ohio.
Hey,
like to gamble. It's got to suck for Ryan Leaf, because every time they say quarterback bust, they're, oh, Ryan Leaf. Anytime they say gambling problems, they're, oh, Art Schlichter. 4th overall out of the Ohio State, 1982. Jamarcus Russell is number 2 on the list, and, of course, Ryan Leaf, number 1. It's not his fault that Peyton Manning was the top pick, right? Because it made the comparison worse, by the way. People like these lists, Chuck. I enjoy doing a little list, talking a little sports, doing a little Martin and Marlow. I think we went a little over on our time. But, last thing. I should have led with this. A pandemic peeve. We'll do your pandemic peeves when we come back. Text in. But they said they won't have snow days for the kids this year because everybody's so adept at doing virtual. I think that sucks. These kids are already depressed enough because they don't see their friends, and it's been boring and terrible for almost a year now. I will die on the wall fighting for snow days for the kids and for sports guys that don't want to go in on a big weather day.
Yeah. More for us, though. I'm concerned more for us.
Yes.
You have to
you got to. I mean, these kids have been like their whole world is just like depressing and not normal. A snow day is like one of the great memories you have as a kid. Please, government officials, school officials, don't take away the snow day.
Okay, but haven't they had like a million days off anyway? I mean, they had to be at home all the time. I'm gonna miss.
Snow day, you don't. That's the beauty of the snow day. Nobody ever stayed home anyway. It's like it wasn't safe to go to school, but every parent loaded up the kids and went and got donuts in the morning, and then went down to Art Hill or found a neighborhood hill to sled on. But that's part of being a kid. That I know they've had a lot of downtime, a lot of home time. The snow day, that's the misnomer. Is nobody stays home anyway.
Yeah, I'm just wondering though with the virtual stuff. I'm guessing, like right now, we're doing this on Zoom, and you can't see me, I can't see you. I mean, are these kids? Are they really sitting in front of their computers? Are they taking their face off, the video off, so it just you see the little icon? And are they playing video games? I mean, honestly, are they?
I think there's probably a lot of shenanigans that go on. Yes, all I'm saying is just from the socialization and the depressing elements that come with all this. Let them have a snow day. I mean, how many do we get in St. Louis? Well, probably too many because it's a flake of snow and they could call it off. But just because you can do the virtual doesn't mean we need more virtual. We need less of that. I'm sorry. I am pro snow day. I don't care what you say.
No, I love snow days. I also I want to make sure that Fox 2 still has its ticker and it tells us when the Zumba classes are going, when the old folks is bridge games and martial arts schools. I love seeing those on the ticker.
I think I honestly think people are just getting free advertising.
Yeah.
Like we should put on there, Martin and Marlow on a snow schedule will be tweeted out later this afternoon. Just get some free pub.
And I think last year, I mean, there were businesses, I think they were calling in just saying, hey, we're open. Like you said, all these other places are closed. So they're looking at it as a great advertising opportunity and say, hey, if all these places are closed, we're gonna tell people on all these local TV stations that we're open for business.
I love when it's on the senior knitting class in Valley Park will be delayed. This is the content people want, Charlie. This is why Dan McLaughlin needs us on his site, because of this type of content. Buddy, I will see you at the office. Have a great week.
You too.